Hello, everyone. Daniel here. How's it going?
Hey now, Clay here. How's it going?
Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I know it's been a little while. I hope you guys had a good Mother's Day holiday. Um, we let you guys have that one for free. Uh, on today's show, we will be talking about Moon Knight season one. So full spoilers for that if you haven't seen Moon Knight, which I really recommend you go do that. As soon as possible. And then we'll also get into like all the stuff we've been watching, reading, and all that towards the latter half of the episode. But Clay, I want to get right into it because
Yes.
I wish I had a flashback feature where we can go back and get a clip from our episode after the first episode aired.
Because I
Because I,
hated the first episode.
yeah, you were very
I was
critical of
like,
it.
this is not Moon Knight. Well, I don't know what the fuck this is, but it is
Yeah,
not Moon Knight. And I
and
feel like it was very incomplete in this. And I do, even though I love it at the end, I do feel that there is a sense of incompleteness to the first
mhm,
season. But we can get into that as we go along.
sure,
Because there's things that I feel like should have been a part of it, but I feel like if we're getting Jake Lockley in the second season, it should have been part of the first season.
yeah.
But they only did 6 episodes. It's a great watch. You could watch it all in a day. It does have some great action when it finally gets to it. Oops.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, in regards to that, I like that it also kind of leaves a lot up to your imagination as
but
the watcher.
that's where I feel like it's still kind of incomplete because I feel that in season two, if there's a season two, or however they're going to explain Jake, that they're going to have to show what Jake did in season one. Don't you feel like? Because there's multiple scenes of like him falling out of the castle, him beating up the people when he's discovered by Harrow the first time, like those blank outs of violence and action are what I want to see. But I feel like there's going to be an episode that's just going to explain Jake and fill all those plot holes in.
Yeah, and and I'm saying this from the point of yeah, I don't know much about the ID, and I don't know much about any of those issues that are in the show, but I feel like all those gaps in time as the viewer were a good way for me to, I'm not gonna say relate because I don't think it's something you can relate to, but at
I
least
relate a lot to it though, so I can talk from that angle.
but at least empathize and feel like what our main characters feeling like they also have these gaps in time, right, when they switch from one alter to the other. So I thought that was good. I don't know that it would serve as the show to go back and show us that stuff. I think, and at first was also like, yeah, I do want to see what happened, and because I didn't really know where the story was going. But now that we know that, those big gaps in time that we probably missed, that neither Mark nor Steven know about, are Jake. Um, then I think, uh, yeah, I think that would be probably maybe a disservice to this first season. We do have Austin in the chat. Hey, Austin.
Yeah, Austin.
I think no more seasons. We get more Moon Knight throughout the. Oh yeah, Scarlet Scarab would be cool.
Scarlet Scarab would be cool. It's just her arc was really about her father, and that journey and discovering who Mark really is, discovering who she's married, and then becoming this hero, this Egyptian hero,
Hmm.
which I totally dug. Like, what did you think about when she showed up and had a suit and all that, and we were just didn't know that was coming.
Oh, she. I mean, she was also always very reluctant. As like, I don't like. I'm here to kind of find out who killed my father and all that, and also because she cares about Mark and Steven towards the end of the. Like I think she cares about both once she got to know them. But yeah, even in the conversation with Tower, like this is a temporary thing. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know if maybe she'll see that she can do more good as this avatar of Tower, or if it'll be something that maybe, I mean, they can do whatever they want. Like it's a comic, right? They can do like, well,
Yeah,
here you can keep powers, but still, be your own person. I guess it also relates back to the god that's controlling you, as we all obviously Khonshu's more of an asshole,
oh yeah,
where he wants the control
but
of
MVP of
like,
the show.
Yeah,
Is Khonshu not the MVP of the show? Like, I
I
loved every line, every lie, every take he told Steven, every take he told Mark.
yeah, I think he's very well done. Very different from like in the comics. I feel like I don't know, maybe they haven't fleshed them out, or maybe I just haven't read the right run. Because in the comics, I do feel like most of it is about uh, Mark or Steven or whoever's in charge at the moment.
Khonshu is in the Lemire run the most. So, like, I'm reading some other stuff and having him show up, and it's kind of weird because it's like he doesn't have the voice that Lemire gave him, which is the
Hmm.
one that kind of stands out in my head a lot. So,
Yeah.
but season 2 could just be an entire Jake Lockley season because when I watched the first episode, I'm like, where's Marlene? Where's Gina? Where are the kids? But we did see Crowley. We've seen Crowley
Yeah.
twice. So we know he exists, and we know Crowley knows Mark, or knows. Does he know Mark?
Steven, I guess.
He
Well,
only knows Steven. Yeah, he
yeah,
only
he
knows
only knows
Steven.
Steven.
But wasn't Crowley in his head?
I guess we don't really know. He could know Mark. It's just like because he was just a statue dude. Like he doesn't really react to anything, right? So to
But see,
him,
that's the
he
other
could have.
thing is that's great though is he always talked to statues in the comics, and then to him actually talking to a statue who is a
Yeah.
main character from the book was a neat nod.
Yes.
But they
Yeah.
didn't
That was
use
cool.
him at all. But I feel like he might be the string that connects Jake, because like what might happen is, and what had happened in the comics is Jake has an entire life that Mark and Steven don't know about. He has a child.
Oh.
He has, yeah, like he has a whole lot that has been going on that neither of them know about. So season 2 could be a heavy Jake episode and could just
Yeah.
suddenly be all the action that we wanted. It'd be kind of neat to see Stephen DeKnight, who did the first season of Daredevil, come in and do a second season of Moon Knight and give us that kind of action, because this was talk heavy. That this was very, I mean, it was well acted. It was well written. I admit, there was not as much action that I wanted, but I still
Hmm.
loved every scene where Isaac and or Oscar Isaacs and Harrow, Jesus, Ethan Hawke would just sit and talk. Like, just their exchanges were so damn good. And even when they were in the mental institution, and you could see Harrow playing a doctor and just being, I mean, even the way he talked was different,
Hmm.
and it was so good. And then you'd see Oscar Isaac go through all the personalities, and I believe we did see Jake in that group.
Oh, for sure. I think there was a big thing, and this is after watching. Like, I'm really bad at recognizing things up front, but then when somebody points them out, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that does make sense. And from there, I kind of start inferring. So I think it was it episode 4 where we finally went to the asylum place. Well, I guess yeah, but then in episode 5 when he comes out, Oscar Isaac comes back out of it, and he's back in the office with Harrow. He talks differently. He talks, and
Yeah,
he's even got the little, I think,
it looks like he's been fighting. His nose has
yeah,
been broken.
Jake is he's a boxer, right? Is he the one that's a boxer in the? No, none of them are a boxer. He's a cab driver. But
Right.
in the
Yeah. Mark
comics,
Mark Spector is the fighter, but he's
yeah.
more of a trained fighter, where Jake is more of a street fighter.
Oh,
But
okay.
but
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Jake in the comics was always more of the intelligence. Like, that's why he hung out at Gina's. Crowley gave him the information from the streets, the kids, whoever he was working with at the time.
Hmm.
But it wasn't until the Max Bemis run where you got all of the inner workings of what Jake's been doing, and that he had a family. It's wild to have a personality that's been living a life and raising a kid, and the other two didn't even know.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I think that definitely. I mean, it's a big reveal, right? So
Oh
it's
yeah,
like when you find stuff like that, and it's fun to do in the comics because it's like a retcon, but it's a retcon that really fits in as opposed to like a retcon that they want to do just because they want to like tie everything up or whatever.
yeah.
Um,
Now you said you didn't feel like you related to a lot of this in here, and I said I do, and I want to point out, like, what I feel like is Jake and Mark are sometimes the voices that are in your head, whether it's and I think, like, because I suffer from depression, you have a negative voice in your head that you have to deal with sometimes. And so seeing Mark and Mark and Steven work together and overcome that has always been my take on depression, in the sense that that voice in your head that brings you down also should be you should be able to alter that and turn that into positive thinking.
Yeah.
And because you would never tell your best friend those things, so why does that negative voice in your head say those things? You just have to work through it. And seeing Mark seeing them embrace in the mental hospital, like becoming friends, that was so great. That was such a great moment for me, just to see that they finally have kind of like, they have this physical connection now, and it's not just talking through mirrors.
Yeah, I think that's where the show, I think, really hit a lot of really cool nuts for me, because like I mentioned, even though personally I don't have any experience with that kind of stuff, I can still relate. And then I understand, and like those scenes when they hug, when he pulls them out of the coffin and or the sarcophagus, and they hug, like that was a really cool moment, right? And then they're trying to solve things, and then the picture I used for our preview, like when they meet, the first see Tower, and they just like go really quick. Like Oscar Isaac's really good at that stuff, where he just makes you feel the emotions that they want you to feel from the show.
Yeah. Like there was just so much after the first one that I loved, because I really hated that first episode. I felt like the first two episodes were a full episode. But I'm also trying to think, are they making his stories and stuff always incomplete? Are we always going to have these dangling storylines, because that's the kind of character he is? He's not a complete person.
Yeah, I
Does
mean,
that
it
make
could be.
sense?
That was kind of my theory when their hearts were on the scale, and they were being measured. And I thought, for me, I was like, the reason that they're not even is because they're still missing a part of who they are, and that was Jake, who was probably in the other sarcophagus. But
Right.
then once one of them fell off the boat, then there was only two, and it could balance. And that was just I guess that's how I took that, like the reason, or at least explain it in my head, that the reason they finally balanced wasn't because they were, which also you could be like, they were finally at peace with each other, because um, Mark showed all his trauma, to all the stuff that he had been protecting Steven from his whole life, or the reason
Yeah.
that he came up with. Um, and then Austin in the chat agrees with. I just really felt like that was maybe, or at least one of the partial explanation of what could have happened. Um, but I think that's the other really cool thing about the show. It leaves a lot up to you as to like, how do you want to, which we don't get that a lot in the MCU. I feel that kind of nuance sometimes gets lost. Like they like, no, this is what's happening and this is the way it is, or whatever. Whereas with this show, because it's so disconnected, like even though there's the strings to connect it to the larger MCU, and hopefully, I do want to see Moon Knight in the future interact
Yeah.
with other characters. Like I'm glad that this show was as isolated as it was. Um, because it allows you to do all that kind of stuff, and like not have to worry about like, well, is this in line with the larger picture of everything that we're doing?
Yeah, I think it's the perfect time for Moon Knight to team up with like some of the younger heroes. I'd love to see him team up with Spider-Man, uh, Kate Bishop, the new Black Widow, because in my mind they would see him as like a hero, but then he could easily turn violent in front of them, and then it would just freak them the fuck out. And they'd be like, how do we deal with a guy who we think's a hero in our group but is committing violence like we don't want?
It'd be like, and I know people hate this comparison to Batman, but it'd be like, like when some of the sidekicks start finally working with Batman, but then he does that one thing that looks like a real asshole move. Like, wait, what do you mean you prepared? Like when he finally shows how distrustful he is to someone,
Yeah.
that impact that it has on the sidekicks, like, oh, Batman's a real asshole. Like
Mm-hmm.
it could be the same, just more like, he's a real violent dude or whatever. So what I want from Moon Knight going forward, and I like your take as well. but obviously
Well,
because
real quick, I just
sure.
your take on the scales and everything. I think the scales balance. I think Khonshu has taken Mark's mind and compartmentalized it and put it into a mental hospital. That's why Jake's in the sarcophagus, because he can't control Jake. He can control Mark and he can control Steven. And so if he compartmentalizes that, that's why in that one room you see all those people that he's killed,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and he has to go in there and kind of deal with it. Um, I think Khonshu can't control Jake, and that's part of the problem, and that's why he stays in there. I think Jake coming out could easily take over Mr. Knight, and Mr. Knight become what he is in the comic book, which is just a much more violent character.
All right. While we're talking about Jake, because I have this theory that so we have Mark. He wears the normal Moon Knight outfit, right?
Right?
And then Steven, he wears when he uses the powers, he becomes Mr. Knight.
Right?
Well, I think my theory is that whenever Jake finally puts on Khonshu's armor or whatever, he can look like the Declan Shalvey with the black touches
Oh, perfect.
to present like the darker side of him.
Yes,
Uh,
yeah, I do like that. Okay, that's great. I would love to see that costume.
and that's kind of how you can, because it's very easy for to visually separate all the alters from each other. Also, when they're
Yeah.
in the, and it would be a cool scene that maybe they're in a situation where they have to switch back and forth while they're fighting, like they did, like Mr. Knight and Mark, the Mark version did that a little bit in
Yeah.
that end fight. But I think maybe them even it could even be like that they're fighting Jake internally for control at the moment, where they also have to fight an external force. But then the second part is whenever the alters finally do begin to work together, they use the Khonshu armor. Like this is the
Oh
full
yeah.
final power of the Moon Knight, right? Like when all
Right.
the pieces fit together. So that's just something I was thinking about because, and I love Declan Shalvey's art, which is one of the main things that this stuff. I was like, how do we get this version of it in the show, right?
Well, there's like that one scene where Moon Knight's like flying through the night, and his cape isn't like waving like you see most
Yeah,
superheroes. It's
no.
kind of curved into a
Hmm.
circle, and that's straight out of a Declan Shelby cover.
Yeah,
I
I
know
think
he's
it's
done that.
in. I think it's in this panel that I pulled just at the top. Like you can see that because I
No,
cropped
yeah,
it because of the country. But I did want to ask because you read a lot more Moon Knight. Does he fly in the comics?
no.
He just
That's why he
glides.
has the moon copter. The
Okay.
that's the other thing is like uh, he always had all this gear, and now with Khonshu, he doesn't have to have this gear.
So he's
And
never flown like he did in the show, like where
no,
he actually takes flight.
well, I mean, he has gear to do it, so he has like this like hang glider type thing
Yeah,
he's used
I've seen that,
before.
but just
Yeah,
by himself. Okay,
but usually it's the copter. The copter was the big thing
I
because
want to see him.
Frenchie would fly it. He'd drop a ladder. Moon Knight would grab it and fly. Then drop from the ladder. Like he would do the rooftop scenes and stuff that we saw in the show. But usually he'd be dropping from the sky.
I want to see Moon Knight copter versus the Thanos copter in a dogfight in the sky.
You know what though? Now that I think about it, though, as I was saying, Khonshu can't control Jake, but then at the end in the extra scenes, we do see that they have somehow come together. Maybe
Mhm.
Khonshu has made a deal with Jake, and that's who's in control now.
Yeah, yeah. I really, I mean, I don't know how people feel about end credit scene on the TV shows. I still like them. I really like that whole thing at the end because you can't look. You can't just leave Harrow out there with
Yeah.
what's the god that was the crocodile god?
Amit.
Amit. Yeah, you can't just leave him out there, right? Um, which I like that Mark and Steven that neither of them wanted to kill Amit because it makes sense that that was their whole arc, I think, right? For Mark to maybe prove that he can change and pull back and not have to be this mercenary that he's been. Um, he could do things his own way too. But then I was like, when Khonshu let them off the hook without killing Amit, I was like, something's going on here. Some like
Yeah.
there's no way Khonshu did not. prepare for this eventuality, because he's like a devious dude, right? One of my favorite scenes in the whole show is when they finally show Mark's backstory of like how he got the powers,
Yeah.
and it was all just by taking full advantage of Mark and his situation, and then his mental state, and that's proven and solidified in that end credit scene where they're like, "I didn't pick you because I wanted to get close to Layla. I picked you because I can control you, and then even if you fight back from your control, I can still control you through this other alter of Jake Lockley that you don't even know about, right?"
Yeah. Like he's so broken, and that's the other thing is DID, dissociative identity disorder, as it's been described, is triggered from a personality that is suppressed and brought forth to help deal with psychological trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, or in the show, it's that his brother died. He saw his brother die, and his mother basically lost her mind because of it, and blamed him. I mean, really just treated a child like a killer.
Yeah.
But in the comic, it's way darker. I don't know how much you want to get into that. But did you read that issue?
I mean, that was I did read the one. It was it the one you recommended after that. Yeah, I did read it, and yeah, it's pretty heavy. I mean, both the show and the comic are just super heavy with like abuse and both physical and mental, and like just really really shitty stuff going on. That was tough to watch in the morning. That was not a fun watch in the morning, because I would normally watch these before work.
Yeah, because I told Shelby, I said this is a real heavy episode, and she goes, "Well, I watch 5 and 6 so that I'll get through that and get to the end, and won't have to wait a week to go through the tough stuff." But in the comic, Mark is Mark and his dad. His dad is, I don't know, he's raised Jewish.
Yes.
He has a friend that he calls his uncle, who looks like. I forget. Are they fundamentalists? Orthodox. Yes. And he's like a friend of the family. He escaped World War II. He has all these. He's just this good friend of the family. And as the story goes on, Jake would go visit him, and he goes to visit him and catches him torturing a man. And you think he's dead because he sees his uncle standing there with these instruments of torture. You see this guy who's wrapped up, hanging upside down, just bleeding from everywhere, and the uncle hits the body, going, "Oh, Mark, he's not dead," and you just hear the dude scream. And you find out that his uncle is a self-hating Jew who worked with the Nazis, worked with Mengele, and would torture and kill other Jews. And not only did he do it then, he's still doing it because he enjoys it.
Damn.
And there's a level of he doesn't know, like, I'm trying to remember if he could cope with his dad knowing this or not. But that's where that was the trigger of the personalities that brought out Mark Spector, or brought out Steven, and brought out Jake at the same time. So I'm thinking that maybe there's an incident that brought out Steven first, and that is this death. There might be a second thing that triggers Jake coming out. Where did Jake come from? And it might be this uncle that he had as a kid, but he didn't seem to hang around his family that much, or he left. Like, how old do you think he was when he left, when they showed that one scene?
Oh man, probably
like
in his
maybe
teens.
in his teens.
Late teens. I would say maybe 16 or 17. So this is the comic you were talking about. It's Moon Knight 194 by Max Bemis, and is it Josh Templeton? I think it's Josh Templeton art.
Ty Templeton.
Ty Templeton. Yep.
Yeah.
Ty
yeah,
Templeton.
It's a standalone. If you want to pick it up, it's really dark. It's bloody. It's more horror than bloody. It's more, but it's just the idea that you have this person that you think is like a friend of the family, and he has just this most disturbing, messed up background, and it's just like it's broken you because you thought this was a good person and it's not. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to step away for a second. Hold on.
Okay. So yeah, this comic, like I read it after episode 4, and it's pretty messed up. So go check it out. It's on Marvel Unlimited. But
Back.
cool. Yeah, this was getting real messed up. So,
but that is the issue. If you want to dig in deep into the mental problems of Mark Spector, that's the issue to start with.
Yeah. I think I definitely want to go back and read more stuff, because there's so many things that I'm just like, oh, these are very cool concepts that the show's really presenting, and I'm sure it's been like, I know they're pulling a lot of stuff. It has to be pulling from the comic, right? Like,
oh yeah,
one way or another. Obviously, we recognize the stuff that's more recent, like Lemire and the Shelby run. Like they pull a lot of stuff from that. But there's so much more. I mean, was there anything you saw that you're like, oh, this is from like one of the older runs, like maybe Charlie Huston, or like even, I think not so much from the beginning, because he was a really different character back then.
Yeah, and it's weird because if you go back to the like Werewolf by Night stuff, it is it just shows Moon Knight going after Werewolf by Night, and he's hired by, I think they're called like the Syndicate, or there's like a group that's running things, and it's more of a what the hell am I trying to say? It's more of an organization kind of thing, and not as supernatural. It's kind of business oriented, so it's kind of weird to see because it grows from that aspect into the series, which the series focuses more on street level crime. The first run is more, I would say, more like a Daredevil type book in who he's in, that he's fighting on the streets, but with more of a supernatural angle to it.
Well, we do have. Hey, Kyle.
Hey,
it's Kyle.
Hey.
Welcome. Yeah, you caught us in the middle of some Moon Knight stuff.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the show? Kyle, have you seen any of the show?
A little bit. Not a fan.
Okay. So that's good. I'm glad. I mean, I don't want you to not like the show, but I'm glad there's somebody with like a bit of a different.
I'm not liking. I don't like the direct. I watched the first episodes, and then I kind of kept up with what was going on, and I'm not a fan of what they did. I should have honest. I wanted white Batman beating the hell out of street criminals. I didn't want this fucking Egyptian god bullshit. I'm gonna be straight up honest.
Oh man, but see that's the thing I wanted to point out too, is they avoided doing the billionaire personality. Not only in this,
I would rather have had that.
But I think who's cheering for the millionaire? I think when Ben Affleck said, "Batman, what's your superpower?" and he said, "I'm rich," people kind of go, I think that. True. I don't think you want to see a guy who solves all his problems with money and violence.
No, see, I'm gonna be straight up. I get where everybody it's new. If people like the Egyptian god, that's great. But I'm the old school. I want the billionaire. I want to see Mark Spector go through these street criminals. I want to see the street level guy who's taking on these thugs and having to deal with a split personality. I like the idea that he's got money as his power.
Well, I do have a theory that because, Mark has built up all this cash, and now Steven, has gone through his story arc. He's a different person. What if Steven becomes the Steven we know from the comics?
Well, Steven, they've already said that that there's been a lot of theory, and apparently the theories are correct. We saw Jake in episode 1. Jake's been in episode 1.
Yeah. We were definitely talking about all that stuff, and I think
just his voice.
Mm-hmm. My whole thing is one reason I really thought Hawkeye did really well is because they did Hawkeye the way I think they were supposed to. He's been an Avenger, but the story was he was a street level guy, and that's what the series did. I wanted a street level series for Moon Knight, and we didn't get that. We got this Egyptian stuff, and I'm just like, and I think from everything I from the 2 episodes I saw and everything I've researched, we got him in costume of maybe a total of 25 minutes throughout the whole 6 episodes. I wanted him in the costume beating the hell out of criminals and trying to figure out who's going to win control of that character, and that's. I wanted the old school Moon Knight. I didn't want this new Moon Knight kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and that's where I am.
And I will agree. I was there in the first episode because that's what I wanted. I wanted to see, and then when they started to take it into another direction and use different elements from different parts of the story, I started to enjoy it more. Yeah, I did want more action, but I did enjoy the action that we did get. And oh Jesus, I'll be right back.
Okay.
I just wish they would have kept the Egyptian stuff for another storyline. I wanted an introduction of just Moon Knight being Batman. That's really what I wanted from this series.
I think, and I mean, I think Marvel definitely felt that sentiment that a lot of people make that comparison, and they're like, we want to make sure that people know this is a whole different thing. So I think
Yeah.
that's a big reason why they changed
Well,
stuff is because of that.
I didn't want him to be Batman, but I just wanted to
Right.
realize, he's not, and I knew it. I knew from day one I first met, when I was reading West Coast Avengers and there was Moon Knight. I get it. He's the avatar for this Egyptian moon god. And, I get that part, but I just didn't want to go into all the supernatural, because I think we've had plenty of supernatural going on with Marvel. I wanted to see more street level, realistic stuff going on. And that's where I kind of fell out of it.
And I think the show does some stuff really cool, especially with the supernatural things, like the whole and they even use that to tie it into the larger MCU. There's in episode 5, they're trying to get to the afterlife.
Yeah, they're in some kind of the god psychiatric war with a big hippopotamus and trying to get back to reality.
That's the way what do they call it? It's the Egyptian underworld, but that the cool thing is that because the way they explain in the show, like because the human mind could not comprehend the underworld, each person has their own version of it. Now to Mark, that was his way to process it through the look of the asylum, and then it's cool because that ties into the Lemire run, which brings you that. But the main thing out of that was that Tower had explained, like, look, there's many afterlives, like, and they even touch on, like, they bring the Black Panther, I forget what it's called, whenever he goes to talk to the other Panthers and stuff. So that was a fun way to tie it into the larger MCU without like having somebody have to show up and something like that. And it's, I don't know, it feels like I like that it's like Marvel's not saying like this is the one right thing, this is heaven or whatever. We can still believe in like Valhalla and
see, I didn't want that. Like, let's just say from what I can see, that we're not sure if we're going to get season 2, but I didn't want that for season 1. I wanted season 1 to be more of a realistic level and bring in the supernatural in book 2 or 3.
I guess the other thing is I have only read more of the modern Moon Knight stuff, so like all this is, to me, this is more what Moon Knight is like. I've read some of the old, like I read his first comic and I was like, who is this person? Like
that's what I like. I like the
right?
old style. I like the old school kind of Moon Knight. That's more than I like the new style Moon Knight.
Yeah, so I definitely, I was telling Clay, I want to go back and read more stuff because I'm sure there's good stories in all these runs. There's a reason why people love this character so much.
I mean, my introduction to him was on the West Coast Avengers. I liked him as the West Coast Avengers, and
I definitely want to see him work with others. I know people are clamoring they want a Midnight Suns, and I can see why they would want a Midnight Suns, because to me that
he's never
seems
been
like
a part of Midnight Suns.
I think there is one, and it may be
more Blade and then Ghost Rider and a couple others, and it was never Moon Knight. Moon Knight was part of Marvel Knights, not Midnight Suns.
Yeah, I'll check on that because I've seen people share a picture with like the Punisher and maybe it's the fan.
It was Marvel Knights. It was Marvel Knights because it was Daredevil, Punisher, Black Widow, Moon Knight. I think maybe Black Panther.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like this character, and also the fact that he has different alters and they can each have their own personality, it lends itself to show both stories. They can do a story with the street level stuff that you want and you like from the comics, or they can do the supernatural story, or they could just do like a complete hero story where he's actually just like, hey, maybe Moon Knight's more of a superhero than a vigilante. But it really lends itself to some cool stuff like that. Oh, here I found the picture. Oh, it is more recent. I think it's from Damnation, maybe.
Yeah, but no, wait. But like I said, Moon Knight's never been. It's been Marvel Knights, not Moon Knight Suns.
Here, I'll show you. Here, I found what I was talking about, and then maybe Clay can confirm or deny the rumors.
Sorry, my dogs are just being difficult.
This is what people are referencing, but it could be. This does look like it's more.
Yeah, maybe there's a different Midnight, because the original Midnight Suns was from like the early '90s.
Oh yeah.
I think that was a Greg Smallwood piece he did, wanting to do a series. I think I remember.
Maybe they did pitch that book, but Marvel passed on it. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, why would they pass on this? This looks rad.
No shit. I mean, that's exactly what Smallwood excels at is that kind of that level street art.
I assume this is Hellstrom.
Yeah,
it's gotta be. But you
I
remember
don't know this dude.
This Clay, the original Midnight Suns was Ghost Rider, it was Blade, it was a few others, but this is not the original Midnight Suns.
I think Morbius was in it. Right?
Morbius, yeah, Morbius.
Yeah. What was that? 97?
No, it was maybe 92, 93.
Oh wow.
You're right, Kyle. This movie needed more Morbius. It's finally coming to VOD on Tuesday, so you can now watch it at home.
And now we're gonna get Kraven.
Yeah. All right. I do want to get back to a little bit of Moon Knight and kind of wrap that up for the audio listeners, since this will go out as an audio podcast as well. And we can have more conversation when Josh gets here too, because I know he hasn't seen the show. But Clay,
I can talk Moon Knight every episode.
I know you can. I'm gonna let you do a little mini-sode on your own of just get everything out. But what did you think of the look of like the suits and all that? I thought everything translated really well, but
yeah, I mean, I really liked it. It's neat to see him be able to suit up like that, because in the comic he just wears like this white leotard. So just to see it kind of consume him was neat. And even when they would go back to Mr. Knight, to Moon Knight, I just dug the whole thing.
And I like that his crescents are kind of endless, right? He just keeps getting them from his chest. That's a neat detail. But I also like that he lost, like whenever Khonshu was in prison, he lost the powers of Moon Knight. So I didn't know what they were gonna do with that. So that was interesting. Now, Kyle, I do think maybe you should watch the last episode, because there's a giant kaiju battle that I think you might enjoy.
I know. I mean, I've seen clips and stuff, but it's just
yeah.
Like I said, I was telling Daniel, I'm not a fan. I wanted to be street level superhero for first book, and I'd rather have the Egyptian stuff stay for like a second or third series. I mean, I didn't want that straight up honest. I wanted Moon Knight I wanted to see the Moon Knight that I got to learn about when I was reading him in West Coast Avengers.
Yeah, and I think that we'll get there. I think with having this kind of story, it's weird to introduce a character like Moon Knight into a team book or something.
No, I'm not saying a team book, but I mean, he wasn't introduced as like the comic book didn't start off. All we knew is he was the avatar of a moon guy. We didn't see him with supernatural and dealing with these Egyptian gods at the very beginning, from the very start of Moon Knight. It was like later.
Yeah, he was a street level fighter from the jump, and that was what was fun, is you could just pick up and this was my complaint on the first episode. Back in the day when Moon Knight came out, you could pick up an issue, read one, have great action, and be done. One issue standalone. That was what was great with comics back in the day. No one was writing for the graphic novel, and that's all they do now. And so even this show felt like, well, we're writing for the second season too. You know, we're going to build all this stuff about Jake. You're never going to see, or you'll see parts of him, and then we'll add him on in the second season. And if they do tell his origin, it'll be a completely different tone. But I would like to see him team up. I was telling Daniel, I want to see him team up with some of these newcomers, because when the heroes team up, you know, and they go fight, so it usually takes this place. The heroes don't know each other. They fight. They realize they have the same purpose. Then they go. Moon Knight's a guy, I think he could join a team, not fight, then get in the middle of a fight and start killing people. And all the other heroes look at him like, wait a minute, that's not what we're about. That's not what we're here to do. And I would love to see him team up with a possible West Coast Avengers that included Kate Bishop, the new Black Widow, maybe the new Vision.
We'll see.
Who knows? Yeah,
that one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but for
we'll talk more about that next week. But I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, but for 6, I mean, I loved Moon Knight, but I never thought he would get a show or a movie or anything. And to see a guy with the talent of Oscar Isaacs take it on and do such a good job, I admit I hated the first episode. I did not like what they did to Stephen Grant, but it grew on me. And it's easier to see Moon Knight go from Mark, who is a confident soldier, to a guy who's not that confident. And you can't have a billionaire, playboy philanthropist type as your other personality, because he would already have that confidence. Like, I don't know what would make him any different than Mark, except maybe fighting styles and stuff. So I'd like to see season 2 be more of a growth of Steven. And
I would rather have seen him. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember it was Steven or it was Jake. But the fact that one of them used to be a taxi driver, I would have liked to have seen him start as a taxi driver just in the series, and they let that start from there. And then,
well, you got a little bit. He's driving a limo in this one.
Yeah, okay. But I would rather have seen that, and then like him have. I'd rather that start that off as a low quality like street level thing, and then have realize what's going on, and you go jump into the next character. That would have been kind of cool.
I do like that the way the show put this on. Like, it allows us to go to very cool locations, like all the stuff that happened in. I know it's supposed to be London. I don't think they were in London. I believe they were like in Belgium or something.
Yeah.
And then also going to Egypt and seeing like a whole. I don't know. I feel like we don't really see. We see Egypt like this, but it's always kind of through the lens of an American. In this case, the director Mohammed Diab is not American, so like it gives you another look at like. Maybe not everyone in the world looks at Egypt like we do, right? Like, you don't need to, like when you do countries like that or like Mexico, and then directors just throw that yellow filter on top of it.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
You don't have to do that. Like, it's just a regular country with regular people. Like,
he just showed people like having dinner, being out. There's a market, just like every other place in the world. And it's no different.
When the Red Scarab shows up and the little girl asks her, like, "Wait, are you an Egyptian superhero?" And she's like, "Yeah, I guess I am." You're like, "Cool." Like, now everybody, like, especially in this world where people are aware, like, there are these superheroes, but like, why are they all in New York? Right?
Yeah. I loved it because people are always going to complain about, well, why'd they introduce her? Why'd they give her? God damn it, man. Let some people have some heroes. I mean, the fact that most of us read these books when we were kids and can connect and identify with white dudes dressing up, beating the shit out of people because they're like us. Jesus Christ, have an Egyptian superhero that's badass. She's got fucking wings. She fights like Falcon, but she also has swords. I want to see that action, man. No one built that suit for it to just stand around. So
yeah. All right. Well, I do want to say, like, overall, I think I really like the show, and I want more Moon Knight somehow. Like I said, hopefully we'll get to see Moon Knight in the future. He has to show up in that Werewolf by Night Halloween thing. Otherwise, why are they even making that? But we'll see. The MCU is in a state of flux constantly.
Yeah.
Things are getting broken.
We're at the cosmic level. We're doing the and I think that's why Moon Knight stressed the gods in this one, because we've done the Eternals. We're doing another level of the universe that we have to deal with in the future phase.
Yeah. Did I tell you guys what I thought the end credit was going to be, or what I wanted the end credit to be?
What?
I don't know if we talked about it. So I think the week before the last Moon Knight aired, or maybe a couple weeks before, we got that Thor trailer, right? I think we talked about that in the last time we were all kind of together. I wanted the end credit scene to be, because they set up so many Egyptian gods now, a whole pantheon of gods on Earth, really.
Right.
I thought they were gonna free more of them, because we saw a bunch of them in that wall that were trapped in the little statues, right? And even if they didn't show anything, just like, oh, maybe they found a few of them dead on Earth. And that's it. And it's just like a little hint that like Gore is out there just killing gods, and we're getting ready for that. Now, like I said, I like this end credit scene as well, and I'm glad that they proved that they don't have to tie everything in. I thought that would have been cool. Maybe in the movie they will reference that Gore has visited Earth, or maybe because of all these gods doing so much stuff, like on a more cosmic level, like when Khonshu moved back the night 2,000 years. Like that caught the attention of Gore, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta go to there's gods over here. I gotta go kill them." So we'll see. I trust in Taika, and I think overall the MCU is in a good direction.
I know we haven't seen Christian Bale dressed up as the God Butcher,
Gore.
but
We've only seen
I've heard it's awesome.
We've only seen the toy. Always look to the toys, kids. They have all the answers because they need a market to the children. But yeah. Any other thoughts on Moon Knight before we wrap this part up?
We've defined the purple magic that's in the MCU as what? Chaotic? Or no, chaotic is red because that's Scarlet Witch, but
yeah.
I think it's just
purple is what?
Purple feels like whatever you need to unwrap different universe. I think purple magic fractures the multiverse. Because we've seen it in Loki, we've seen it in No Way Home, or No Way Home.
It's the Dark Dimension. That's right. He's pulling because he was pulling Anubis from the Dark Dimension, so he was able to pull,
or from the underworld. Yeah.
So I think that's what that connects to. Because then we also see the gods of Egypt use white magic to bind Mark. So it's curious. The same way we had the Infinity Stones, we've got different color magic, and they all mean different things. Again, I'm bummed that Kyle didn't dig it because I really dug it. But I agree. It would have been great to have more fights and stuff.
I mean, I've liked stuff you guys didn't, so
yeah. I just am such a big Moon Knight fan that it was so great to finally see this.
I'll be sure to be honest. I couldn't get through the Batman. I tried 3 times watching. I turned it off. I was so bored out of the fucking movie.
Oh boy, I'm gonna have to.
I couldn't even finish it.
What?
Yeah, I'm just. Maybe it's just because I'm not in the mood to watch a Batman film. I'm so burnt out on these Batman films coming out that I just.
That is true. We do get a lot of content for Batman.
I got about 5 or 10 minutes in, and every time I just turned it off because nothing about it grabbed me.
Gasp.
Yeah, it is definitely more of a thriller.
Yeah, I don't know.
You get, it's 7. If you enjoyed 7, that's what the Batman, the huge.
I'm not
chunk
looking for that
is.
in the I'll be sure I'm not looking for that in the superhero. I wanted a superhero again. I want your street level guy beating the hell out. And I get it, he does it, but it's.
Well, Matt Reeves is making the point of how a guy becomes the world's greatest detective.
Yeah,
because he's not in this movie, and he has to give him something. I don't know, man. I'm bummed that you didn't finish that because there are moments in there that really pivot for Batman in theatrical version that I'm excited to see. When when the flood at the end happens, and he offers a hand to help. Like there's this point where Batman has to become Superman because we don't have hope in this world anymore.
There's definitely a journey, but it is a long journey. So if you're not in for that, if you don't want to go on that long,
maybe later. But right now, I couldn't do it because
I'll ask Zack Snyder to break it up in chapters for you.
If I see Zack Snyder's name attached to it, I'm not even going to touch it anymore.
All right, I'll be back. Okay. I'll be back again. My dogs are going crazy.
Sure. If you want to know everyone else's full thoughts on the Batman.
Oh, no, I said everybody saw. I tried.
I meant for the people listening and watching. You can go check out the audio podcast we dropped last week, or you can check out the video where we had a guest, Mike, from the I Read Comic Books podcast. But while Clay's away, I'll exit out of the audio podcast. So anyone listening on audio, thank you guys for listening. Remember to share and subscribe to the podcast. Give us a rating. We are now with the Geek Collective, so that's a whole different thing. And we're starting to rebuild the show. We'll have more stuff coming out. I'm sure we'll talk about Multiverse of Madness in the future. But thanks everyone for listening, and let us know what you thought about Moon Knight. Now, for everyone sticking around on YouTube, Kyle, let's start with you since Clay's away. What you been reading? It's been a little while since we all kind of gathered.
I don't even remember what I've been reading. Like, this has been a weird week. The only 2 things I can really say I've been reading the last couple of weeks, and let's see. I read the.
You say I haven't been reading, and then grab like a Bible-sized book.
No, it's just one book.
Okay.
This is from a couple weeks ago. I just been reading it. The only 2 things I can really think I've read this week was one. I read the Captain America, Sam Wilson. I think Sentinel of Liberty.
Symbol of Truth. Yep.
Yeah, I got that too.
I thought that was decent. And then I also watched the Hulk versus Thor, Honor of Banner or Banner of Honor.
Banner of War.
Yeah, Banner of War. Yeah, and that was interesting. Like, I think this fact to see, Thor put the hammer down on the Hulk, and the Hulk realizing that, hey, the only way I can do this. he stands up but has the hammer rip right through his body, and I thought that was kind of okay. This is kind of messed up. But
I'm loving Donny Cates' Hulk.
not a fan. Like, I fell out. I fell out again. It was like when they did Superior Spider-Man. I tried getting into the first. I thought Immortal Hulk was good, and then I fell out of love with that series. Just thought it was I couldn't do it anymore. It's just I did not like the Immortal Hulk anymore. So it's been kind of hard getting back into the Hulk.
Kyle, I think you're a resident Spider-Man reader.
Yeah.
Did you check out the Amazing Spider-Man one?
Not a fan. I haven't read.
Yeah. Okay.
Issue 1.
I read it too.
I haven't read 2 yet, but issue 1 was just like, what the like. I was loving it. The fact that that last issue before that, Peter he becomes Spider-Man again. He's back with Mary Jane. Everything seems to be going good. And then 6 months later, they're broken up. He owes money to people. It's like he's not talking to Aunt May. It's apparently MJ has kids. I'm just like, where the fuck are they going with this shit?
Yeah, I like Zeb Wells. I've liked what he's done before, but this one for me was like, I'll probably check it out again when it's like the whole arc is done and we have the whole story.
I hate to say this. I think I'm starting to get burnt out on Marvel. Marvel doesn't know what the fuck they want to do anymore.
Yeah, you sound like you're really just tired of some of the stuff that they're doing. What are you enjoying? What are you enjoying?
Not much. I'll be straight up honest. Not much. Like
we need some comics for indie comics that are not.
No, I'm like, okay. So the 2 things I finally bought, Akira Toriyama's. Was it a manga theater, which is a collection of all his early stuff from 82 to 93.
Oh, very cool!
Wow, that is a book.
And this is fucking amazing. This is it's some of it's there's a couple it's stuff that he released as a younger manga artist in Shonen Jump. I mean, sometimes it's a one-time story, sometimes it's maybe a 2 or 3 arc story, but it's all limited stuff, and you can see where you got where influences was coming for Dragon Ball and Dr. Slump and stuff like this. And this is I'm still finishing up, but this is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I mean, in the cover, that dude looks like Yamcha with with a red ribbon outfit and Bulma on the side.
And then,
oh yeah, I mean, geez, come on.
And then a friend of mine yesterday just picked this up for me, and I read it already, and it's kind of cool. But he picked me up a manga called Kaiju number 8.
Dude, I love Kaiju number 8.
This one's actually pretty fun.
That's a great cover.
It's a little reminiscent of. I mean, it's not Attack on Titan. If you've seen Attack on Titan. But the story elements are slightly there. It's the fact it's normal day Japan. It's sort of almost think actually it's got a little bit. I would say we're influenced by oh my god, why am I blanking on Pacific Rim. It's where Japan's being attacked by kaijus, but they have a defense force that are killing them. And this doesn't have the whole thing like where the Titans are getting, or the Taiju are getting more powerful. They're an extinction level thing. It's just Japan's getting attacked, and 2 friends decide they want to join the defense force to destroy them. The girl becomes the highest rated ranking officer, who has the highest kill rank, and then the other one becomes a part of this cleanup team. And then he has another member who's an 18-year-old who is joining the thing, but he wants to become a defense member. And while they're in the hospital, the main guy we don't know if it's a dream or what's going on, but he sees the small kaiju that basically goes into his body and gives him the power to morph into this kaiju human hybrid, has superpowers, and so he's basically using that to try to join the defense force. And he realizes the kaiju army, there's actually more to them than he really realized. And so it's going to be him basically trying to, I guess, become their version of a superhero or a secret weapon to fight the kaiju. So this is just book 1, but I'll be straight up honest. I'm out of DC and Marvel.
How much is the book?
It was $9.99.
$10.
Yeah, $10.
Okay, I was going to say, because it looked pretty thick, so that's a good deal.
That's manga for you. It's always
it's like 8. I think 8 chapters maybe.
Yeah, 8 chapters. I think I also did read. If I remember DC stuff.
$6 for a subpar first issue.
Yeah,
$10 for that though. So
yeah, manga. Anyway, I think a few other things. I think at DC, if I remember a couple weeks ago, I think at DC I've been reading. Been keeping up on the Justice League versus Legion of Superheroes, which is still interesting because it's not even versus the. I don't know. It's
I'm curious what you think of that, because I read the first issue and I was like, oh, Bendis, stop having them talk so much.
I know, there's no fighting.
That's what Bendis does, though, man.
Yeah, I do. Before we keep talking about that, I do want to show Clay a little bit of Kaiju number 8.
Yeah.
These are the opening pages, and any manga opens up with colored pages, and it's just super cool. Like this is the girl that Kyle was talking about, and I think this is her friend Kafka.
Yeah,
Yeah, super cool. He's part of like he works for like damage control, kind of
yeah.
pretty
It's
much,
basically damage
right?
control.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Damage
it's a fun
control
book,
for
and it looks
kaijus.
it looks beautiful. Like
Look
look at
here.
all the detail.
Oh, dude, that's a cool splash page.
It's
Look here.
pretty fucking rad. You
Oh
can read.
shit,
Yeah,
love
This is
Kyle.
hold on.
this is the this is what he looks like as the human sort of.
Yeah, the hybrid
Dude.
looking dude.
Yeah, and this is I don't know. I think I may have a reemergence to want to read more manga right now than I do Marvel or DC.
Kyle,
because,
I'm telling you, the best thing I'm subscribed to is Shonen Jump for $2 a month, and you can
Yeah.
read everything. But Clay, if you want to check it out, you can read the first 3 chapters for free
I
Oh,
will
really?
on the
Okay, I'll
on the
check it
Viz,
out.
on the Viz website.
I was gonna.
Oh,
I have a new TV series that I'm really loving, but I'm gonna save it for my recommendation. But I do want to bring up. There's a new podcast that I've been listening to that I think it takes a second to grow on you, but the it's
no.
it's okay. So Marvel is definitely the heavy producers, but it's called Squirrel Go Radio Show. And so,
Yes.
and it's yeah, and I'm just having fun with it. It's what's her name? It's the AT&T girl who's Marvel's. It's basically she is to Squirrel Girl what Rob Reynolds is to Deadpool, or what all this. But but she's basically doing a talk show for one of the big radio stations, and then it's having people call in like if they need help. And one of the last episodes was basically the Shocker pretending to be a friend of Hank Pym's, getting Pym particles, and he's trying to figure out what would you do to and basically trying to play off the part of being a superhero, but trying to get ideas. Yeah.
Her name is Milana.
Yeah. Milana. Oh, what the hell?
Koi Boy, Chipmunk Hunk.
I cannot pronounce her last name, but she also voices Squirrel Girl in Secret Warriors.
No, that's the thing. Anything that they have her, but I mean, she was originally supposed to be Squirrel Girl in the live-action New Warriors TV series that they were going to do. They scrapped that, and they kept her. And so anything animated they've done or anything else, she is their Squirrel Girl. I mean, like basically, it's whoever they have voicing the Hulk or whoever they have voicing their characters now who's been that main person. She is their character.
And there are costume pictures of her that they were setting up, because there's even one where like they had made a cardboard tail to see what it would look like behind her. Like that's how far they got to putting that together. I really wish they had done a live action version, because I think that's the way we're going to swing though. If you think about it, like, because of the way Marvel is right now, it's getting very cosmic, very godlike. We're getting into higher levels of, we need the pendulum to swing back and just have some fun stories, and Squirrel Girl is one of those.
Yeah, and like I said, I'll be sure to be honest. I think I'm just getting to the point where it's just like I'm not liking this writing for the graphic novel. I want to go back to where it was a one and done. I mean, you could have a 2-parter, like continue next week, but I'm Marvel, DC, and Marvel are just losing me when it comes to this stuff, because I don't want
to. The problem is not that they're writing for the graphic novel. Is the problem is that, well, the way I see it, the problem is that maybe we shouldn't have. Maybe not everything needs to be a monthly comic. Like, let's just put out OGNs and give me the whole story at once. But they'll never do that, because the comic industry will never change it. I don't think in our lifetime. So
I tweeted it this week, and I stand by it. The best thing in comics right now to me is Reckless. It's just, and I buy all those in hardbacks. The Brubaker Phillips stuff is just great, man. It's just fantastic. The best thing in comics.
I've been meaning to do this. I'm calling Clay out. I am calling your ass out. Because I've been listening to. Now, this is a little bit off comic book, but basically, I've been listening to your and Mark's podcast.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You call me out on fucking Nick Cage.
Yes. Both of us have called you out. Because...
I know. I never said Nick Cage was bad. I've seen his old stuff. I grew up watching. I've seen I grew up watching Raising Arizona. I remember in the '80s it was a military movie. He was when he was a helicopter pilot. I've seen Face Off. I've seen The Rock. I've seen all these other things. I think he was good to a point. I just don't care for any of his new stuff.
If I remember correctly, the quote was Nick Cage is overrated.
Yes, now. And I think the last thing he's been overrated since he did the second fucking Treasures movie.
Whoa. Okay. I'm gonna give you 3 things.
Okay. Wait, no. I've seen Dogs of War. And I thought that was a good film. I can't remember when that was made, but no.
Mandy, which is the most full. It is full Nick Cage. It is the most Cage you can ever get, but it is horrific, and it is a horror.
Yeah.
It will mess with you, but it is the best full Cage you could ever get. Colors Out of Space is fantastic. It is toned down Cage, but it is him in a world of cosmic horror. I mean, it is Lovecraftian horror. It is amazing. And then I'm just going off of what Daniel said, how good Pig was, because I still haven't seen Pig, but I've not heard a bad word about it. So there's 3 films for Nick Cage for you to watch.
If you're a horror fan, that's great, but I'm not going to watch them because I'm not a horror fan. It's like, that's the thing. And
I can't recommend Mandy to non-horror fans because, like, even Mark, who's a horror fan, said that the next day he was still having thoughts of what was happening in that movie because it messed him up.
I mean, it's like I'm not a Will Ferrell fan, and I know that he's probably made some decent films out there, but I just don't care for him, and I'm not going to watch most of his films. If I'm not a fan person, I'm not going to take the time to watch the stuff that they're in. It's just me and
I like that. I like that it went to another podcast that you called them out on. That's good.
We had a crossover.
They did. Because, I mean, and I remember, like, I also like the fact, like, Mark called you on one of the episodes, like, saying, "Hey, what's been your history of podcasting?" And he goes, and you guys, and then basically, it's they're talking about the podcast I used to do with Mark with Tech Charge, and Clay goes off on a 5-minute tangent about how Kylepedia, it's like, he can tell you this and that, and it's just like.
Well, it was funny because Mark was talking about just how that podcast came about and the origins of, like, you and Sarah joining the Tech Cards.
He wanted to be the Andy Kaufman of the podcast world.
Yeah. It was just very strange. He was playing a role that wasn't him, and it was odd, but it was a neat story to hear. So
yeah, and I just remember, like, oh my god, yeah.
That we're doing this year. We're doing today's episode. We're doing 1977. We both picked, or I picked, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Nice. As we go through the decades of Gen X movies.
Yeah, didn't Mark pick what is it? Oh God, Smoking the Bandit for 76.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Look, that's a bold choice in a year that had a New Hope,
Star Wars and
Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, but I think the reason you didn't want to pick Star Wars is because everybody would have picked Star Wars. I think
everybody would have picked.
No, that makes sense.
The thing is we started it. What?
That movie Sorcerer I watched, the old movie with the guy from Jaws, is from 77.
The old guy.
I wish you had chosen the fucking animated Hobbit film. You had brought that up, and
I had brought that up. I own a copy of it, and I love it.
Wizards, didn't you?
I wanted to pick Wizards. I couldn't find my digital copy of it, but I own Close Encounters. And I hadn't seen that in a long time. And I always like to point out that every Christmas, everyone watches A Christmas Story, and it has Melinda Dillon as the mom, and she's the mom in Close Encounters too. And she's so different in both roles and so goddamn good. I like people to see how what a wide range she has.
You could have picked Eraserhead, Suspiria.
I almost picked Eraserhead because he was forcing me to pick Eraserhead. He goes, "You need to see it," and I'm like,
"I wish you guys." I get why you didn't, but I was hoping one of you would have chosen Jaws for 75, and you guys didn't. That's my favorite film from 75. So,
yeah, I think we start to get into, like, what was going on at the time, and, like, Jaws became the summer blockbuster that then became Star Wars. Because people forget the Jaws came out before then. I wanted to talk about Bad News Bears because the Bad News Bears is such a Gen X film, but if you watch the trailer, you have to bleep out a lot of the words because it has kids using racist terms about each other.
No boy. Yeah. You're about to get to a point where you guys may have to do more than one movie for a decade.
Oh yeah. We end up talking about many different ones that we go into. I mean, I did Silent Running and talked about Mystery Science Theater for an hour.
Okay.
What's going to happen when you get to 2023? I mean, let's just say by the time 2023 hits, you're going to get to 2023. You're just going to go back to 1970 something and just redo another movie. Okay.
Good luck picking a movie in 1999. They were all bangers.
What? Give me 3. Well, okay, The Matrix.
Yeah, The Matrix episode.
Isn't that Fast and Furious? The first one came out.
No. Matrix was 99 was just the first Matrix. Matrix 2 and 3 didn't come into like a couple years later.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we have Matrix. You have Fight Club. You have The Mummy. You have
The Mummy.
I don't know how you feel about Deep Blue Sea.
okay.
Deep Blue Sea's awesome, man.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
LL Cool J.
I got you for you.
I know why you love it.
No, I got two for
Phantom
you.
Menace,
Mystery Men and Galaxy Quest were both 99.
Wild Wild West.
Fuck yes.
Oh, Wild Wild West is overrated.
Wild Wild West is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's not a good movie.
Mystery Men and Galaxy Quest are both phenomenal films, in my
A
opinion.
lot of people
Mystery-
love Boondock Saints. I've never seen it, but a lot of people love. Oh,
Wait, you haven't
Are
seen
you
what?
fucking for real? You haven't seen Boondock Saints?
Yeah, no, I'm.
Well, actually, neither have I. I've only seen two.
Dude, Willem Dafoe in that, man. Go watch it for Willem Dafoe. Oh
Hey,
my god.
at least I've seen Streets of Fire.
Yeah, Streets of Fire is awesome.
Did I say what was the other one? The Sixth Sense is
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck. Anyways, back to.
You want to talk about crap? There's Bicentennial Man.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. I'm not a big Robin Williams fan.
Whoa. How are you not a Robin Williams fan?
Robin Williams has a handful of good movies, but Robin Williams was also a big joke thief that nobody talks about, and no one wants to because of the way he passed. He used to steal jokes from other comedians, and his manager would go around writing checks for people because he would steal their material. Huh?
He's buying the jokes.
He's buying the jokes. Knowing how much of a joke thief he was is, I mean, it was pretty bad. But we don't have the internet to document it, and he did so many rewarding things like Aladdin that people are, I know he did a lot of feel-good movies, and that's what people take from it, and I don't want to discredit that, so I don't want to sit here and shit on him. Yeah, and I do say he does have a handful of movies I really love. Dead Poets Society. Oh my God, what's the one where he did with Ed Norton and Danny DeVito? Death to Smoochie is my favorite.
So good.
Favorite Robin Williams movie.
So Clay, just to kind of close out on Robin Williams, I've heard that same story, but from a comedian's point of view, and he's like, he loved comedy so much that he would go sit at the comedy clubs and just take it in, and yeah, he would forget that where he heard a joke or whatever. But if anybody ever went up to him or his manager or whatever, he would write him a check because he's like, yeah, I probably stole the joke and don't even know it. Like, yeah, I don't think he's like, that maliciously was doing that.
Yeah. Thank you.
But who knows? Maybe it is probably, little pink, pink colored glasses because it is Robin Williams.
Yeah, and he's gone, and I don't want to shit on him,
right?
But that was the take I had at the time because I had read and talked to comedians who said that he just constantly stole stuff, and you could even find accounts of it on YouTube. But it's like, if you enjoy Robin Williams, I'm not going to sit here and tell you why you shouldn't. I don't want to ruin someone's enjoyment of Aladdin or Patch Adams or whatever movies you watch. Just enjoy them, but that's just my take.
Ooh. Disney's Tarzan is also from 1999.
So was 10 Things I Hate About You, which I still enjoy.
Yeah.
That is a good movie.
I'm telling you, that was the best year probably ever in movies.
Oh, no. 1985.
85? Oh, is that...
here's an idea for an episode. Like, no. This is... Because I think we're going to get... Each of us chooses what do you think was the best year for movies.
Yeah. I like that.
And coming with like 3 to 5 movies that you use to defend why that year was the best movie.
It's going to be like a tournament of power, and we each bring our best 5 fighters.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, I can do that.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what? I've been wanting to do that on here, but with covers, because I've been reading a lot of tweets about a lot of people are unhappy with the covers comics are doing. They said that they're not as iconic as they used to be.
I'm going to give them that. I think, I'm not saying there aren't some good covers out there, but I don't think they're as special as they used to be. I think there used to be, especially 70s, 80s, and 90s, I think there used to be where artists used to take time to make the covers more artistic and more to draw you in.
Covers are now more for the wow, shock, and value, where before they also told you about what the book is in, what's inside of the book you're about to buy.
Well, not even that. And not knocking Daniel for what he does, because he's a part of the problem. But like
variants.
But we get Tommy damn variants, so it's like, what what's special about him anymore. It's like, okay, this artist did this cover. I mean, I want a cover of a comic book where that's the only cover, and that's what draws me into that issue or that series.
You're gonna hate when we get to me in the comics this week. But,
I was gonna say, because I like just pulled up a bunch of number ones to go. Like, this book just tells me Hulk and Thor are gonna fight.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But this is a variant cover. This isn't even like the number one.
Yeah.
Avengers Forever shows a ton of cool. Like, I kind of dig this because this is a variation on all the current Avengers in different multiverses. Scotty Young is always going to be Scotty Young. But then I pulled out a couple of classics, the Marvel and DC Prestige format.
Both those are classic covers, in my opinion.
I mean, no variants for these. Art Adams and
would you get this at half price books or something? Or
no, I've been going through my comics and cataloging them, and all my Prestige format, the ones that are a little hardbound. These are both. They go on the shelf now. I put them in the bookshelf. I used to bag and board them, but I don't know why, because they're sturdy and I can thumb through them real quick and find the stuff I want to read.
Well, Kyle, did you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Well, then let's just keep going since I got you on the big screen, Clay. Or I can move you to the big screen easier. What you been up to? Yeah.
Moon Knight.
So, you got the variant cover.
Yeah, it's Chris Bachalo. That's the main reason.
Well, the main one was Sienkiewicz, so that was a tough choice.
True, but I'll find it. I'll always, if I find the variant covers on sale, I'll pick them up. I know Zeus recently had a quarter sale that I couldn't go to, and I'm so bummed because I always pick up a ton of stuff at their quarter sale.
Did you understand the first story? Because that's what. So Josh and I were talking in the Discord.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know what Hickman wrote.
Yeah. See, Hickman loves to just go, okay, what's this about? I'm going to write something close to it. Because they've always hinted at a Moon Knight Space Knight kind of take, and because Khonshu is or dealing with the moon gods and stuff, those aren't just limited to Earth. You can go out into space, and so he has this whole space Moon Knight storyline that just does not work for me. It's probably the weakest thing in the book. There are 3 different stories.
Looks cool,
and it looks cool as fuck because it's Chris Bachalo, but the story was really kind of hard to follow. I just wasn't a fan.
The red balloon also threw me off. Because I just kept thinking, is Pennywise about to show up?
But look at those layouts. I mean, I'd be curious to see the notes that Hickman gave Bachalo as to what are we doing here? How is this going to play out? And how are we going to use red?
And then I can't read hieroglyphics, so I guess I could just try to infer what's going on. But yeah, this story was. I like the art. It was not my favorite because I really didn't know what to tell you what's happening. Now this next story.
Yeah, the second one.
This was fun.
Yeah. This is what Kyle wants. This is the team.
It really is. Yeah, I think out of the 3 stories, Kyle would probably like this one the best. The last one second, and then he wouldn't even read the first one because there's no way to read it. It's hard.
The last one is fantastic because as you go through it, you're like, you start to figure out what's going on, and then you get to it, and then you read it backwards, and it just plays out so cool. So really, for me, that third story was the best. The second one was the second. The first one, It
was fun, but this and I hate that I can't really show you guys because the stupid Comixology, but sucks.
Comixology, what a piece of shit.
This really cool splash page of Spidey saving him, and then you can do Spidey in the red because it still adheres to the color scheme. So very cool. And then I do want to show you one more, but keep going, Clay. I'll pull it up in a minute.
Okay. Speaking of old comics, I know Kyle will dig this. Korvac Saga. Went to the library and wanted to read some old classic Avengers stuff. I don't know if I told you guys on the show last week. I've been hunting down Atari Force. I know this is a weird transition from Avengers to Atari Force. But I'm not going to say who, but someone at some point took an entire box of my comics, and I am missing all of my Avengers run and Atari Force. And so I had a long box that had like this in it. It had George Perez art. It had early John Byrne. It had the Avengers in the hundreds, in the 200s. It had Avengers Annual 10, the Rogue Captain Marvel fight where she takes Captain Marvel's personality. I just am missing all of those, and it just pissed me off. So I'm going back and rereading a lot of old Avenger books and going through the George Perez stuff. Is just fantastic. But man, this is dated. It is so funny to see the Guardians of the Galaxy team up with the Avengers.
Wait. The real Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ew.
The original Guardians of the Galaxy.
The real Guardians of the Galaxy. Not these bullshit leftovers.
Is this like a real Ghostbusters argument?
Yeah, kind of. This is, but I love the fucking monsters in here that Corvax has at the beginning. They're just insane. I mean, there's a dude that looks like a man baby.
Yeah,
right here.
He's super strong. Yeah,
yes, but it's just an insane fun book. But again, you know, this one connects a bunch of different stories. It runs from Thor into the Avengers, and again, it shifts from it has. Jim Shooter doing some of the writing at times, but it has George Perez art in there. And so that's really great to see. And to see him draw that Avengers lineup at the time that had like Beast, Scarlet Witch, Vision, Wonder Man, you know, fun times. I love that.
That's an awesome run.
Yeah. Avengers Forever finished their first arc with issue 5, and I recommend the trade. It started off with Aaron Kuder art, and then I guess he started to do something else. I don't know what happened, but he's doing this is the 5th one, and he did the cover for. I just love the multiverse, and I love Jason Aaron playing in it because he comes up with the coolest shit. And his version of Tony Stark Ant-Man is great because it's got Tony without the cockiness, but almost a lazy scientist. Like casually, he invented the Ant-Man suit. Like it's just really cool ideas like that, and seeing where it goes and who teams up with who and what works. I love it. Even the art change. Usually if it's all in one story, I like the artist to stay the same. Even though it changed, I still dug it. Again, Jason Aaron's writing the funnest shit in comics right now, and that's why I went out and got all this Thor stuff to get ready for Love and Thunder. We talked about Amazing Spider-Man #1. I will say I did love, John Romita Jr.'s art in it. I know y'all aren't fans.
I like
the faces. It feels like everyone kind of looks the same in the face. I like anybody with a mask looks cool because they're very. I mean, it's easier. But yeah. This one was a miss for me.
Yeah, I picked up the Captain America Symbol of Truth. That was a good start. I kind of wanted to get that one because the author of the Zero issue that we talked about last episode that we loved so much is the author on this one. And so I may stick with it for a little bit because I kind of want to see where it's going to go. But I dug it. And it has the new Falcon in there too.
Yep, Joaquin Torres from if you watch the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. It's cool. I like it. It looks cool. There's a scene where they're walking through Harlem that I really like. A whole
yes.
What I really like.
There's rumors that we're going to see John Walker, Sam, and Bucky in Secret Wars TV series.
Secret Invasion.
Yeah, Secret Invasion. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, I've heard rumors now of Secret Wars film because now that we have Miss America in there, that she can do this, that there's a chance that we could see a Secret Wars film.
That would make sense.
One thing I did love about it, and I know this is coming later, but apparently it came off right after the tales. I'm not sure why it came after the tales of Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of the Madness, but I heard they're going to be rebooting the Inhumans as a series for Disney Plus, so it'd be kind of awesome to see this.
Yeah, we'll dig way more into that next week with Josh and everyone. Because
don't give me the head wipe. I know, and I have another connection. My recommendation is going to be slightly tied to Inhumans.
I need to justify my Inhumans hate and just go and read a bunch of it and find my favorite Inhuman story. But I feel like it's going to be some Jack Kirby old stuff. And
see, I like the Charles Soule stuff a lot.
Okay,
but that does introduce. It is the introduction of what they call new humans after the after the Turgeon Miss Bomb or whatever.
Yeah,
I hope the Inhumans are going to be a little more closer to the comic book counterparts than we got in that fucking TV series they released on ABC.
Yeah,
oh my
that was. So, did you watch the whole thing, Kyle?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Anything good? Lockjaw.
Lockjaw was cool.
Lockjaw was cool. And the beginning was cool. Karnak was cool in the first episode, and then immediately they nerfed his powers.
Oh shit! Really?
His first fight, I think it's like they're having dinner or something, and with his powers, it was a really cool where. Feel like all the probability or whatever. Yeah, but then he falls, he hit his head, and then by the end of the issue, he has no powers anymore.
I didn't think any of the casting was. I don't think the casting was bad. It's just they didn't let them play the characters they were supposed to.
Yeah, it was one of the dudes from Lost that came in on the second wave of people with the researchers.
Yeah,
the Medusa hair looked cool, but then once again, by the end of the first episode, they shaved her head.
She has no hair. It's like, why? And then we get about. I think was it who's the aquatic dude?
Oh yeah. I forget his name, but
he's in there for maybe 2 scenes. He's in the very first episode and the very last episode. And I bet it's just kind of like.
My favorite casting was Maximus, because it was the dude from Game of Thrones that everyone hated.
Triton.
Not Joffrey.
Triton. Thank you. Triton.
Yeah, so that was I think Black Bolt's brother was really well cast because we already hated that guy anyways from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but he's also in Misfits where he played a good guy, so I recommend you check that out too. Maybe
I just like hating this guy.
If you have not seen Misfits, I will say it is New Mutants. It is the New Mutants that we needed that we didn't get in that movie.
Okay. All right.
I will compare it to that New Mutants because I love it that much. Let's see. And update on this Marvel multiverse RPG book. I just don't know if I can recommend it. It is very basic. It gives you 10 characters. It gives you one villain, which are just Hydra agents, and one story. It is not a fully formed game. It is a playtest, and it says it's a playtest. But I'm trying to put together something for us to play to test this system, and I'm going to have to create every character from scratch. So, that kind of sucks. And so, as I check the subreddits and the discords of people who are managing this, they're basically doing all the work. So people have already built versions. I think I posted in Discord. Someone built a Batman version to exist in a Marvel universe. Yeah, and I see I see people building on this more than anything else. I don't see. They're planning for a hardback to come out next year with all the rules. There are no vehicles. There's no magic. They don't talk about. There's just so much stuff you're going to have to create. So, I told you guys, I'd put together a game for us to play. It's going to take a while because every character you fight or any character that isn't one of the 10 they give you, we'll have to create and then compare the stats to see if they're worthwhile. That's going to be the hard part. I really feel like this book was put out and they're just asking for how would you play it? And I feel like they had a better version in the old 80s Marvel role-playing game that played on percentages more than this, because this is a heavy math. All RPGs are, but this just has a lot of different things that will affect your character in playing. And it's kind of bumming me out that there's not more to it. The company that they're doing virtual tabletops with isn't even ready. I'm trying to remember the name of the company. Let me look it up real quick. Demiplane. So if you go to Demiplane and try to start a Marvel game, you have to buy a digital copy of this so that you have the rules in the game when you play. It just doesn't feel ready at all. And I'm just kind of bummed because I really would love to play this, but they set it out a year early and then asked everyone else to kind of build it for them. And that's what I feel
I'll
like
tell
it's
you what,
kind of...
Clay. Instead, whenever this comes out, which I backed on Kickstarter, the Die RPG from Karen Gillan and Stephanie Hans from the comic.
From the comic, yeah.
We'll just do a campaign on this.
Okay.
Because this looks super rad. I love the comic. I need to finish it. Although I hear the ending's not as good as the beginning.
Oh,
but there's some
really?
really cool characters, some really cool stuff. And then, the best thing, check this out. They've been like way super overfunded already.
How many times over did they make?
Their goal was 36,000.
And they have 271?
$207,000. So, which I think they'll make more than 300K, and that'll trigger some like stretch goals for paying more for not themselves but other creators that worked on this. So, very cool stuff. Yeah, so maybe we'll do a better game instead.
I'm still going to put it together because I talked to Adrian and I told him, I wanted to do a War of the Realms story for you guys, and that intrigued him. So Adrian and I are working on this together. So we're going to build a game for you guys to play. Who do you want to play? Because I really would like to make it character specific.
I told you I want to be Vampire Jubilee.
Vampire Jubilee. You're going to make this fucking hard. Okay. Kyle, who do you want to be?
I'm probably going to head to I'm not a fan of tabletops. I tried too many times and I just can't do them.
Okay.
I'll be straight about it. It's nothing against them. It just, I've tried too many times. I'm just not a fan of sitting there, trying to do tabletop games. That's why I stick pretty much to video game RPGs. I mean Dragon Quest RPGs, not like
I'll ask Mike to come back and play since he's
You guys
he was excited about that.
Yeah, have somebody else. It's nothing against it. Just I've tried too many times. I'm not the audience for it.
Yeah, I think the thing I want to try to figure out though is if their virtual add-on doesn't really work that well, if we could do it in a StreamYard and I could take a second camera to do either minis or a map or something. Yeah. But I am definitely adding video to this, so it's going to have different moments in it that hopefully I can pull video from. And that's the thing that I feel like they're really missing out on this game is they have cartoons and videos from decades of Marvel stuff that they could integrate in this game that you could play while you're playing a tabletop game. You could add more to it and enrich it. They're asking for advice. Like all they want is feedback on what's on this little book that's been written. And I feel like we're doing the work for them.
Yeah. It sounds like they don't know what they wanted. They're just like, we have the license, we have the properties, and go.
Yeah. Like, the characters they give, why does Black Panther, his fighting style different than Captain America's? Iron Man should have a list of every gun and every weapon on his suit. They just, what kind of armor or what kind of guns does Rocket have? There's just so many questions. So I just can't recommend it unless you really are a game designer and you want to build this from scratch, because that's what this book is scratch.
Okay. All right, you got anything else?
Nope, that's it. Watch Close Encounters, but we talked about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually have seen that movie and I quite enjoyed it. I know sometimes
you saw a movie from the 70s.
I've seen plenty of movies from the 70s.
I call BS.
What's the movie about?
At least 3 off the top of my head. Oh, Rocky's from the 70s. 4. At least 4. So I saw Close Encounters. That movie I talked about with the guy from Jaws. I forget the name now. The Sorcerer. It's called, obviously, Star Wars.
Yeah.
And Rocky. The first one's from the 70s. So I'm sure I've seen more. That's all I can name off the top of my head. I'm really bad with years in movies.
Now I feel like I need to recommend you to see a bunch.
Let's see.
I really think you should see Bad News Bears. I think that's one of the greatest Gen X films of kids growing up.
You say that movie, and I know it's not the same movie, but I immediately think of the Keanu Reeves movie.
Oh
where he's a baseball coach.
Here, I've got a quick question for you. 1983, there were two films that were both produced by Disney and Paramount. First time and only time it ever happened. Do you guys know what those two films were?
In 83?
83?
Live action or animation?
Both live action, even though one was based off an old cartoon property.
Huh.
Oh, I don't know. Shit.
Robin Williams' Popeye.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
And wait, and let's see. Now that I said that, let's see if Clayton gets the second one.
Peter Pan.
No. That was the cartoon property. This one is fantasy based.
Oh, Dark Crystal?
No, but I'll give this one. I can't remember his name, but he, the main star was in Ghostbusters 2. He's the guy who's the curator at the museum.
Oh, yes, Dragon Slayer.
Yep.
Dragon Slayer. Yeah, man. Dragon Slayer is a badass movie. I remember seeing that as a kid.
Oh, my God, yeah.
That was an awesome flick.
Yeah, both Popeye
Very
and
underrated.
Those were the two films that it was a random. I can't remember the reason, but they were produced both by Paramount and Disney.
Yeah, that is weird. That is a weird trio. Though, what was that? What was the Christian Bale dragon movie? Rain of Fire. That's the best dragon movie of all time. That movie's fucking awesome.
I hated that when I first saw it. I've grown to like it better as I've seen it. From the first time.
You got James McAvoy as a supporting character in that. You got Matthew McConaughey with an axe running into a dragon's mouth, just swinging. Man, dude, yeah. I just dug the fuck out of that movie.
I'm just gonna throw a few more 70s movies I've seen. The Godfather.
Part 2.
Whoa.
Superman, the movie. It's from the 70s.
Okay.
Wait, Jaws.
Alien. I've seen the first Alien. Jaws.
Have you seen Jaws?
I've seen the blockbusters. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
The Exorcist.
Oh wow.
Which I will probably never watch again.
That I can understand. That I can understand.
That's scary. Carrie. I've seen Carrie.
Carrie's great. Carrie's a weird one because Carrie's been a Gen X film that has been remade, I believe, 4 times now.
Oh, and now they're redoing fucking Firestarter.
Well, Carrie is a good segue to get into my stuff because I watched the new Firestarter and it's not very good.
Oh shit! Really?
It presents like most Stephen King things. It presents a lot of really cool ideas. They didn't either. I've heard people there's a few people that I've seen like it, so maybe you want to try to check it out. Maybe it just wasn't for me. I just never really connected. But the fact that Zac Efron now he's old enough to play the role of a dad, I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
I know that when I felt really old when I'm like, well, who's her handler? And I'm like, Zac Efron. Yeah. I'm like, that kid, and he's got a beard. And I'm like,
the young actress that plays the main character, I think she's really good. But like I said, they introduced a lot of cool concepts, but it just never really. It feels to me like it never paid off. I think Firestarter, like most Stephen King things, would probably be better as a TV series or like a mini series where they have more time to really. I think the world seemed pretty interesting. Like that whole. Have you guys seen the original one?
Oh yeah.
What? Which one?
Firestarter, the original movie.
Yeah, I did.
So like the whole
Drew Barrymore,
the company or whatever that makes them, or I don't know, the scientist. All that stuff is really interesting. Learning about, I don't know if in the original movie, like her parents of the little girl, they both had powers. But I don't know if they changed it for this movie.
I don't remember.
I'm spoiling the new movie. So I kind of want to go back and watch the original movie just to see if maybe it was this adaptation or not. But Zac Efron's pretty good in it. And like I said, the little girl's really good in it. Other than that, though, but it's still just, it's not as bad as Morbius. But
how long is it?
It's like an hour and 29, 40. It's not too bad. And it's on Peacock now.
Peacock,
so.
Yeah.
Also, I watched The Fifth Element. I rewatched that because it was the 25th anniversary last week. So I wanted to do a video on that, which I did. So go check that out on the channel. I watched the Lost City, the new Sandra Bullock movie with Channing Tatum.
Oh,
it's really fun. It's really fun. I really enjoyed that one, and it's on Paramount Plus. So if you still have that around, I know Clay, you already canceled it, but there may be enough good things coming to you soon.
I think Kyle had mentioned that it reminded him of Romancing the Stone and Jewel of the Nile, and that's Was
Wait,
that you?
I never saw it. I haven't seen the movie.
Maybe it was Josh.
No, just the theme of it. I thought you
Oh.
had said that it looked like. Oh, okay. Well, then maybe it was someone else.
I have no,
Okay.
I have no intention of seeing the film.
But yeah, it's fun. It's they don't make movies like that anymore for sure. Like where it's like just a fun.
But-
It's not even. I wouldn't even call it a rom-com. It's just a really fun action comedy.
But I will say I have a reason not to cancel Paramount Plus right now.
The Star Trek
my
stuff.
recommendation.
Yeah, it's probably Star Trek stuff.
I'm not going to wait till my recommendation.
Yeah, he's gonna wait. Let it. So yeah, those are the 3 movies I watched. I started a new anime called All Out. It's about rugby. So because I was looking for another sports anime to watch, and I don't know anything about rugby. I feel like at least I know a little bit now.
Yeah.
And then on Netflix, I watched the first season of The Final Table, which is just like a chef's competition from all over the world. It's really fun. Now for new stuff, HBO has a new show called We Own the City with John Bernthal. It's about It's about cops in Baltimore. Yeah, it's good. It's pretty good. I think the show's very well made. I've never seen The Wire. A lot of people say it's like a spiritual successor to The Wire. But I'm intrigued. The only thing that really makes me laugh is that because there's a lot of they follow kind of the career of John Bernthal's character throughout the time, like throughout different ages. So he's got like 5 or 6 different haircuts all throughout the movie, all throughout the series. Yeah. And it's just really funny every time he shows up because some of the haircuts are really outdated. It's really interesting. Now, as far as comics, I read The Nice House on the Lake, Volume 1. I finally caught up on that. Man, Tinian is just doing some really fun stuff with that book.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to read the next volume. And then for the other stuff, here, let me just walk you guys through my poll.
Yeah, if you want horror, I think Tinian's the best one out there right now.
Dude, Tinian is just so good at whatever he's been doing. So here, let's see. So I read Jurassic League #1.
How was that?
Oh yeah,
it's really fun. It's just like they're dinosaurs, and that's it. Like they tell you everything you need to know about it in the cover for sure.
This came highly recommended at my store. They said that this was like, and I said, was it like JL Ape when they did all the Justice League as apes? He goes, it's better.
Yeah, I think so.
Because that was at least part of the normal universe. But this one is just they're on a different. They're multiverse. They're all dinosaurs. There's no no villain changing them.
Yeah, I'm still really enjoying Superman Son of Kal-El. This is the API variant. They're doing a lot of those for Asian American Pacific Islander month. Then I picked up my Captain America Symbol of Truth.
Nice.
I really like this cover, although I like the main cover. I
like both.
Yeah,
those
I really
awesome.
like both. What else we got? I'm only trying to see stuff that I actually read this week. Like we talked about Moon Knight, which, like I said, I love the Sienkiewicz cover.
Sienkiewicz cover.
I'm still super on board with the X-Men book. The ladies go to Game World. It's a ladies' night issue, so I don't know. I think Gary Duggan really nails what I like about the X-Men. And now we're
he's I may have to pick that up. World, Gary Duggan.
Gary Duggan, not Murder World, Game World, which is like in
Game
space.
World. Oh.
So in the first issue, they set up 3 different storylines, and one of them is that Game World, they keep placing bets on who can destroy the Earth. So like they keep sending different things, and they've been going. It's one of the storylines there's like 3 different storylines going in the book. So we get to this is probably my favorite thing of the week. It's called Grimm. It's by Stephanie Phillips. This is the foil cover, but
I almost picked it up because you guys were hyping it so much, and I love her.
It's also the most watched video, the reviews I did this week.
Oh, really?
But it also has this is a Dave Stewart cover.
Ooh.
This is Jenny Frison. Jay Lee.
Yeah.
And then just
the
regular not foily, not shiny one. So it follows a character who is she's like a Grim Reaper, but she doesn't remember why she died, and that kind of sets off like what's going on. And they set up like this whole really interesting underworld. Sorry, I got multiverse on the brain. They set up like this whole underworld, It's really fun. Also, if that hadn't come out this week, this would have been my pick of the week. 8 Billion Genies by Charles Soule and Ryan Brown.
Oh wow.
The premise is everyone on Earth gets a genie, and you can make one wish. So like, what happens after that? And
Interesting.
it's really fun because it starts with like 8 seconds in, then 8 minutes, and then eight. The next dish is gonna be like 8 days into it, and it's
Oh
gonna be only
wow.
8 issues. It's a mini series, yeah.
To
And
see
then
how
this is
people
the
who quickly use their wishes.
there's some fun stuff that they tell us, and this is the variant cover I picked up for that.
Jen Bartel.
Mm, I believe so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because that
Uh,
looks like the color, and she's awesome.
Crossover. I'm
Crossover
still on that.
13.
Donny Cates. And then the last thing, also Donny Cates. Uh, Banner War. This is the Gary Frank cover. I really like this book. Then also pick up this variant. I don't know who did this one. I just really liked it. And then the video game looking one by Kokolo, who's the artist, the interior artist.
Oh, that looks cool. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, but that was fun. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a cool crossover because I'm caught up on both the Hulk and Thor.
Yeah.
And Donny Cates is really doing some really fun stuff. But I think that was it. Let me check the.
Oh, I do want to mention Joe Bob was back for a fourth season, and this Friday he did 2 movies, but one I had never seen called "The Girl That Lives Down the Lane." Have you guys ever seen this?
Mm.
Holy shit! This is an awesome movie. It is one of Jodie Foster's earliest movies. She is a girl that lives in a house in this town alone, and then there's this predator, kind of known in the city as a child predator, played by Martin Sheen.
No shit.
And dude, it blows me away to see how good Jodie Foster is as a kid, as an actor, because her and Martin Sheen have these scenes together where they're just both on the same page, both on the same level of acting, and it is so damn good. But it's a horror film, but it's more of a thriller. I really recommend it if you've never seen it, just to see those two play off each other, because it is amazing to see how good Jodie Foster was when she was that age.
And then after you watch that, go watch Panic Room, who is Jodie Foster grown up, and then Kristen Stewart is the kid.
Is this a kid?
I have one more comic that I forgot. This is from last week though, that's why I think I didn't bring it up. But the Spider-Man 1990, the 2099 Exodus Alpha. I love Spidey 2099. I think he's my favorite. So
Yeah.
definitely wanted to check that out. Steve Orlando, Paul Fry. It's fun, and it features Ghost Rider 2099. So we'll see. I like it.
Who is the Ghost Rider 2099?
I don't know. It doesn't say in this one, and I haven't read 2099 stuff in a while, because when Peter David last did it, he brought him to the present, so
Yeah.
they weren't really in the future a lot.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. But it's fun. I love the 2099 world, and I want to read more of it because it just looks like a fun world. Plus, we were supposed to be getting 2099 Spidey in October, but it got delayed till next year.
Yeah.
I think that's it. That's all I read. I'm also reading Kaiju number 8, the ongoing on Shonen Jump. So if you have $2, get it, and you can read up to 100 chapters.
So for $2 a month, you get their entire library.
Yep, everything that Viz is putting out in the Shonen Jump magazine. In the U.S., there's some stuff that's Japan only. They have another service called Manga Plus or something.
How would you compare the interface between that and Comixology?
On the web, on the desktop, it's pretty similar, where they're both just like this reader. It's actually, I think Shonen Jump's a little better. On the iPad, it's like reading in PDF because it's all static. There's no guided view or anything. So that's the only thing. If you don't care for that, but it works very well. You can download the comics to your device and read offline. Every once in a while, you may have to reset the app or re-download an issue, but other than that, but for $2 a month, I mean,
that's pretty good to have a library like that. That's basically what I think Marvel Unlimited is worth.
Yeah, I'm reading like 2 or 3 ongoings, plus some stuff that I'm catching up with. So that's already pretty much worth it because it's weekly chapters for the most part. Like some stuff is maybe 3 times a month or whatever. But
Okay.
yeah, manga, they just crank that stuff out. I said the only downside to the manga industry as it is that they have a lot of assistants that don't really get credit for
Yeah.
doing a bunch of stuff. But I mean, it is what it is, whatever. And nothing I can do over here to change that. They, at least comics over here try to credit as many people as they can
Yeah.
for the most part. But all right, so let's see. Now I guess we'll wrap up the show.
I got
think-
one thing.
well, let's do
Recommendations.
recommendations, and then I want to show you guys a video too.
I got one thing I wanted to throw out
Sure.
because I've been working on another model.
Yeah.
Master Grade Titans from Gundam Zeta.
Cool.
That's awesome looking.
Oh, look at that.
Dude, I want that.
I got this back in like '99 or 2000. About these models I still need to put together, but I was like Master Grade. I forgot how much more detail Master Grade goes into some of the smaller stuff. We put together. Like here,
You don't
like you go and there's like they have a small little guy. There's a cockpit here. You can even get details of that. So like this really.
Does that little stuff, like the stuff that's not blue, is that already pre-painted or?
Yeah, it's already colored. Yeah.
But then you can also paint these, right?
Exactly, which I'm probably gonna do later. But I try to go through and put the stickers on the body together
Put it
first.
together. So. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, Kyle, while you're up, you want to give us your recommendation?
Yep. I'm going to say it straight up now. If people have Paramount and they're not watching it, Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Holy fuck.
Okay.
Pitch us on that.
Huh?
Pitch me on the show.
It's basically, it takes place 3 months after the season 2 finale of Discovery season 2. It's Pike basically commanding the Enterprise. It's going to be his 10-year commanding the Enterprise before we get Kirk joining on. And it's basically him. You get Rebecca J. Stamos as number 1. You have Spock on there. You have an early ensign Uhura. You have Kirk's brother, who's a part of the cast. You have and just the whole cast is fucking phenomenal. The Enterprise itself is sort of a mix between original Star Trek and then the Kelson universe, but it's in the normal Star Trek universe. Everything looks so much better. The design of the ship, just their acting, everything. I have not been this excited for a Star Trek series in a long time.
So, I've heard great things, and it looks exciting.
Oh my god!
This is a prequel to the original TV show.
Yes, technically, yeah, because the original pilot of the original series was Pike and that crew.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I remember hearing. I think Ensign Mount came.
Yeah, who played Black Bolt in the Inhumans TV series is Captain Pike. And the great thing about this is because of events that happened in Discovery, he knows his death. He knows what's going to happen to him, the disfigurement and everything. It's 10 years in the future, but he knows what's going to happen. And number 1 and Spock both know the secret too. And so it's him having to deal with how do I deal with my future and still captain the Enterprise.
But this is an alternate universe, though. He could avoid.
No, it's not. Discovery is part of is a part of the normal Star Trek universe.
So in 2019, I believe, these two guys, the Anson Mount and the guy who plays Spock, I don't know his name, they were both at Fan Expo thing here.
Yeah.
And I remember going on their panel because I don't know if Inhumans had already passed or not. I think it had, and he addressed it, but
Inhumans was like.
But people were excited because they released like some shorts with him and Spock for Star Trek prior to all this stuff, I guess. Like 10-minute episodes that you can watch on CBS All Access back when it was called that. And people were really excited because this captain only appeared in like 1 episode, right?
Yeah.
Technically 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
No, but so basically, what's going on is Discovery is set in the normal universe, and you realize this because in Discovery season 3, Discovery gets thrown into like 1,000 years in the future, and Michael Burnham is Spock's adopted sister, and she looks at the history and it shows everything that Leonard Nimoy ever did, but they're aware of the Kelvin universe, and so basically this is the normal universe just with a slightly more updated because of the new age. The Enterprise is slightly more updated looking, which what the original should have looked like. And it's oh my god, I am in love with the series. It's just everything about it, the casting. And they have an Inari who are a branch off the Andorians, but they're blind. They live in the frost. If you watch Enterprise in season 4, you met the Inari. And in the Inari in there, he's an older gentleman, but he's their chief engineer. And it is phenomenal. Enterprise has got to run for its money.
How many episodes?
2. There are only 2 in so far.
Okay, I'm gonna go check them out.
I know, no, and you can watch the pilot on YouTube. They have the first episode on YouTube now.
Okay.
Oh my god, it is. I have not been this excited. I mean, this has me more excited about any other TV series that's out there. I mean, I'm not even. I'm more curious. I'm more interested in keeping up with this than I am looking forward to, and I'm gonna watch it when it comes out. But Kenobi.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad to hear that because I know some people were not super stoked about Picard this last season.
I watched Picard, and Picard was interesting, and I watched the last episode, and there is. I'm not going to give why, but there is a heartfelt moment that almost made me cry between Q and Picard. I'm just going to leave it at that. But yeah,
Okay.
but no, Discovery. Holy shit! That's all I'm going to say. I cannot. Cool. This is now my favorite TV series. This is beats out anything else that's on TV right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Clay, you want to hit us with yours?
Well, because Josh isn't here, I have to drop the Humble Bundles because there are some great Humble Bundles this week, man. A Transformer, The Final Phase. Nice. I mean, there are tons of books in here. Kyle, you probably have read most of these, so you can probably comment on more. But yeah, for $25, you can get all of these. And not only that, if you're not a Transformers fan, Heavy Metal. They have a huge Heavy Metal. There should be a link in there. Library. So again, and it's what I've been talking about lately is anthologies and how much I love them. That's exactly what Heavy Metal is. Pick it up, read a story. You don't like it, go to the next one. You love it. You find that artist. He's done other stuff for Heavy Metal. I mean, I think the Heavy Metal bundle is probably my favorite just for the content that's in it. And then this last one is European comics. So I know Valerian is in there for people who saw that movie a few years ago. If you want to read the comic, which is a lot better than the film, that's in this bundle.
And it inspired, partly inspired Star Wars as well.
There's a lot of stuff in there that you're not going to see in your shops here. And so it's definitely worth picking up just to find different kinds of stories. So
I think we read this one for book club, right? The Aldebaran.
Yeah.
This volume.
The first one. But yeah, I mean, just like those three, if you just donate, what is it? $25 is the minimum or however much you want to do it. I think the money is going to the comic book defense fund.
Okay.
World Reader. This one supports World Reader.
World Reader. Okay. One of them supports the comic book defense fund, and I couldn't remember. Oh, that's the children's fund on
the Heavy Metal
Transformers.
Comic book legal defense fund. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, any of those, I think that's a great buy. And
don't forget,
I'm actually using Panels as my CBR reader. So I really recommend that. It's worth the purchase because it does guided view better than anything else out there. And it's like $6.
I like Panels too because it helps me for all the review stuff that we get. Like that's like usually a PDF or something. So and remember to adjust your amounts here because like maybe they should get a little more.
Yeah. Donate what you want to the causes you believe in. Get some great books. And if you've never read Heavy Metal, oh man, just fantastic stuff. Like
what an interesting way to get in there. To really just throw you in the deep.
Yeah, that's pretty much the library. You're buying a library.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll finish off with my stuff, and as always, it's stuff I haven't read, but I will soon. The first one is we're getting a new Savage Avengers. I really like the previous title.
Yeah.
This one's by David Pepose, who he did Scout's Honor recently. But it's probably the main indie thing that he's done. But just look at the team; looks really cool. It's Conan, Deathlock, Elektra, Daredevil, Black Knight, Anti-Venom, Cloak and Dagger, and then Weapon H. Like a bunch of characters that we hadn't seen in a long, long time.
Such a weird group, but so awesome to be put together.
Yeah, I haven't read. I forgot to read it before this, but it's fine. But I'll do a review for it on Wednesday, so stay tuned. And then the other book, coming to Comixology Unlimited, Barnstormers. This is from Scott Snyder and Tula Lotte. Big fan of Scott Snyder, but also I'm a big fan of Lotte's art. I really love the stuff that she does. she does a lot of posters for movies and stuff like that. She recently posted on Instagram the Birds of Prey stuff again that
Oh
she
yeah.
did. So yeah, recommend you check that out. And then we have okay, there's a link.
That's just for.
Oh, okay, for
If anybody wants,
this is a 54-minute video. I don't know that we can.
No.
Yeah.
That's the link to watch the first episode of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, I'll drop that in the description of the video.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all we have except for one thing that. So today we had originally planned to do Multiverse of Madness, but Josh chose to go make baskets instead with his family.
Literally
Making baskets. I should have never brought it up. I saw him during book club, and I saw his daughter came in the office and grabbed her basket to keep working on it, and I asked questions about it. So in preparation for us watching Doctor Strange, hold on, let me make sure. I want to show you guys a quick video, and we'll probably crop this out as part of the stream. But here, let's see. Stop screen, share. Have you guys both seen the movie?
no.
Yes.
You haven't seen it?
No.
I mean,
I know what happens.
This doesn't have spoiler, which is the reason I picked it.
Just play it. I know of everything that happens. I know who the Illuminati are.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Well,
Yeah.
That was so fucking cool.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it next week. So this is the Lego Strange. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness trailer.
Nice.
Oh, is this not the original one? Hold on a second.
I love the stop motion Lego animators out there that just put so much work into these trailers they redo.
Well, it looks like this is a trailer, so let's see. Oh shoot, I forgot to see if you guys can hear it. Hold, let me try it again. Okay, you guys should be able to hear it, so let's see. We'll figure it out. All right, here we go.
There we go.
Every night, I dream the same dream. And then, the nightmare begins. I had to protect our world. You cannot control everything, Strange. You opened the doorway between universes, and we don't know who or what will walk through it. Wanda, what do you know about the multiverse?
Viz had his theories. He believed it was dangerous.
He was right. I'm sorry, Stephen. Your desecration of reality will not go unpunished. We should tell him the truth. Things just got out of hand.
You break the rules. Look out! You become a hero. I do it. I become the enemy. That doesn't seem fair.
Jeez.
That was awesome. The Lego animated hands that wrap around him look really good.
Cool. It was really cool. So go check out Jack Esther's channel. They worked on this, animated it. But yeah, it's really fun. I just like all the details, and then going back in my head, like remembering the scene from the live action stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they did a really good job adapting the little faces and stuff to move. So I don't know, really fun stuff. The movie, it's really good. You guys can check out our spoiler-free reviews on the channel.
I
and then
loved
next
it.
week, hopefully, we will be talking all about it. So stay tuned for that. Thanks to everybody that watched live, Austin. Thanks for showing up earlier.
Yeah.
And any lurkers, because I see the number go up and down, but like sometimes people don't really say anything in the chat. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, also check out our audio podcast, which is just a condensed version of the discussions here on the live. The latest one is about the Batman with our buddy Mike Rappin from my Read Comic Books podcast.
Great episode.
And yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, and then just stay tuned on the channel. We'll have more comic reviews, trailer reactions. I'll probably put this last part out as a little clip on its own and just a bunch more weird stuff. So, yeah, that's it. I think. Do you guys have anything before we get out of here?
Got nothing.
Nope.
Well, the only thing I will say, and it relates to our exit because we always kind of go out to. There's some Fast and Furious and are leaving.
Oh,
The guy who plays Hawk and Jack Reacher has now joined the cast of Fast
no.
10.
You know what this means, don't you?
What?
There's two Aquaman in Fast and Furious now.
Yeah, because he said it
Oh,
with
yeah.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, Jason Momoa was,
He was Aquaman in Smallville.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Two Aquaman.
Yeah, he was.
Multiverse. Oh,
Two-
they're going to the multiverse. Fast and Furious is going to the multiverse.
2 Aquaman and a Captain Marvel.
Calling it now. This is going to be a Warner Brothers Paramount joint. But yeah. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for watching. Bye.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Let's get out of
Let's
here.
ride.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Little loves you.
Oh yeah. Clay.
Hell, Bebo.
Josh.
Simon Center, get the fuck out.